I had a choice actually of a huge firm that always deals with this, very huge, meaning you get a phone call from a different person every week and they're not really always caught up. And it took lots of time for anything to trickle or any phone call to get returned. I picked a private, smaller business. I just feel like it was more personal, and smaller was probably going to be stronger. And just by our talks, it was more understandable. It was a really hard choice. I remember that because they were both licensed lawyers. So at the end of the day, it was really hard to make that call. Me and my wife discussed it. And in order to pick, everyone was just saying it didn't matter which one it was. They're both going to be able to do the same thing. So we just went with the smaller one that seemed to return calls and be more in connection, a closer connection.
Yes. Well, many times that is the benefit of going with a more smaller local firm as compared to a larger, big law, national billboard firm, because on those larger firms, you will not get the personal attention that you may need for your specific case. And you may just be considered another statistic in a big law firm. And they may not be able to gather the information and the evidence that is particular to your case in order to properly advocate for you and maximize your recovery, because they're not involved so much in your case. You're being handled by case managers, by assistants.
Yes, paralegals,
and the attorney is not evaluating the file, the facts, the evidence in order to zealously advocate for you to maximize your case. A more personalized, localized firm will be more involved. The attorney will be more involved. They will be there with you side by side. That's why I've always preferred to keep my practice limited, because as an attorney, we're fiduciaries. We're in a position of trust. I just don't feel good about treating a client's life like a business matter. I'm more in the civil, the litigation, negligence law, injury matters, and business disputes. Disputes are all about relationships. There's so many communications and interactions that were performed amongst the parties that you have to really conduct discovery. You have to find out what went wrong in this relationship. I just want to make clear that as an attorney, when we take on a case, we're in that realm where it happens really once in a lifetime. Once in a life. And people don't know how to really handle these situations. So we have to be there for our clients because it's an intimate, it's a personal, intimate, and it's a scary situation.
Absolutely. Yep. And I already knew that with you. I didn't know how huge you were, but I could feel it from the gate. You helping people is already a cut above, but you're right. Exactly how I felt was throwing down a pipeline of business. And I'll be honest with you, man, not to put feelings into it, but we felt like the other huge firm, the television, commercial, big, huge firms in the huge area we won't mention, but you feel less care. You feel less cared for just because you're not even speaking to the actual lawyer. But if you can't speak to your actual lawyer, they can't guide you through the process. And that's why whoever's listening, if there's anyone more grateful than a lawyer, I'd like to meet him. But for people like you, if there's anybody that's alive, more grateful to have lawyers and someone to be in our corner to defend us as much as they can fight legally. I didn't know how to fight legally. I just need to know all the facts because that's how I am. I can't figure nothing out. I can't start another company or career without knowing about these agreements that I'm signing and not reading all the small print and figuring out what went on wrong and how not to harm not just me, but my two little girls, my little boy, my wife. They've harmed all of them. But to just carry on and move forward is always the hardest thing after getting jumped and beat up, this big money corporation.
You bring up some really great points, and your perspective is enlightening. and it's inspiring. And I'm sure many other people feel the same way. And let me just elaborate on what you said, because these situations go beyond just you. They affect your whole life and the people around you, your loved ones. And what you said is absolutely correct. It goes back to the attorney and the points that you made as compared to a personalized attorney who zealously advocates for you, or a big law attorney at a large law firm, because each case falls on its own facts. It has to be cultivated. You have to work closely with your attorney. You have to trust your attorney. It is a teamwork situation. One, because you know your facts the best. You lived it. And as an attorney, we can only rely on you to provide us the facts so that we can spot the issues and then analyze how to apply the law to your own particular facts. The argument has to be customized to your case. We have to work together to zealously advocate for you and provide the legal arguments so that you can maximize your recovery, your recourse, your justice in this particular situation. A large firm that may only provide your case facts and your file to a paralegal, a case manager, or a subordinate is not going to be able to do that, because they don't have the proper training, the proper personal attention to zealously advocate for you and to analyze your particular facts. And they may only apply a general cookie cutter argument. And that doesn't really help you. A small firm can give you the more personal attention to be with you along this journey, because it is a long process. Justice certainly doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, the discovery process, the depositions, the interrogatories. It is a fact-finding process. It's a search for the truth, and it doesn't happen immediately. So having an attorney that wears multiple hats, one as a legal advocate and a lot of times as a personal advisor, it can be helpful. Each case is different. You have to be able to evaluate it. It's a trust. You have to interview your attorneys to understand that you feel comfortable with them. There's a lot of different dynamics that go into play, but your perspective was very insightful. And as an attorney, I need to hear it from the public. I need to hear it from clients, what they are looking for in an attorney, because it helps me improve my practice. It's a practice. It's something I have to do regularly. It's amazing, and I can get to be of service. But I have to hear from others, so I have an immense gratitude for you for sharing this
Likewise.
with me.